Oklahoma to try to be a pilot.
After I had met your mother and we were more or less engaged when I went to,
This was right before the war.
this was before the war.
So what, 39?
Yeah, I met your mother in '39. Yeah, and this would have been probably in '40 when I went out there. Of course, the wave of patriotism was starting to roll across the country. I got caught up in it too, and saw this ad one day. You could go out and be to the Air Force Aviation Training Program. It was called. So I signed up for it, and I never will forget. Went out to was sent to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and there was guys that were on the train. We came by train or buses. How did we? Well, some came by train, but some came by bus. But anyway, we wind up at this particular place, and we were given quite a lecture by the people who ran the school. This is called the Skelly Field of Aviation School. And we were given quite a lecture about how we were going to become underclassmen. We were called dodos.
Like the
That was what we were
dodo.
called. You're a dodo now. And remember, when an upperclassman asks you a question, you better give them the correct answer and be truthful, because if you don't, out you go. Well, here we're, and I'm trying to look for a career or something, and you were intimidated to start with. So I remember after we got off the plane, I had her stuff in what do we call them? Foot lockers, or clothes and so forth. Foot lockers. Got to the barracks, later barracks out, and I remember one of these upperclassmen came up to me and he said, "Mister, you got a picture of your girlfriend?" And I hesitated a bit. He said, "On your honor, mister, you got a picture of your girlfriend?" "Yes, sir." I went down, I got this picture of Dorothy. We should have it with me. I had this picture of Dorothy. It was in a frame, glass over, and this guy picked it up, and he took his thumb and went right across it, made a big thumbprint right across it, and he said, "Mister, you should be ashamed of yourself." And I said, "Yes, sir, yes, sir," because, well, we were already intimidated down to nothing. And you're going to take this picture, and you're going to walk through the full length of this barracks, down on the other side, and then come out over to the next barracks, and you're going to carry this picture and hold it up in the air, and you're going to yell at the top of your voice, "I'm a silly ass for letting Dorothy's picture get all doity." Not dirty, doity. So here I am, carrying this picture, going along, and I was yelling this out, and every once the guy stopped and looked at me and said, "Well, you are dumb, aren't you? Leave that behind, you know." All over this place, carrying Dorothy's picture around, and they're giving me the business about it, but eventually I got the picture back, and
Doity.
and believe it or not, I became an upperclassman eventually, going through all the rest of the stuff, the military training and all the rest of the stuff. And guess who was one of my first underclassmen? Don Scott. Did you ever hear of Don Scott? Don Scott Field? Don Scott was an underclassman. I mean, he was a dodo coming in when I was an upperclassman. And I remember I felt sorry for him, because first place, when he arrived there were headlines of his All-Americanship. All-American football player arriving here. Well, all the upperclassmen were ready to pounce on him. Oh boy. Well, I felt sorry for the guy, and I went over, introduced myself, and taught him how to make his bunk, because you had to make it folded back in some way. There was just so many inches exposed on the top side, and you had to pull it tight enough that you could throw a quarter down on it and it would bounce. You had to have it tight and so forth and so on, because we had upperclassmen there that, well, I remember one of the guys I was with all the time. I don't know, there was something about him that just they liked to pick on. And he and I would go in and get ours going through inspections, and they'd invariably say to him, "Make it over, mister." And he'd have to tear the thing all up again. And then after you did that, then he'd holler, "Okay, you're getting tired. You better sit down a while." But you had to sit with your butt on the floor and your legs up in the air, and you had to sit like this. Then if your legs started to drop down, he said, "You getting tired, mister? Well, maybe you better hang around a while." Well, hanging around, they had a double-deck bunk with a barge up over the top. You had to lock your arm up here, and then pull your legs up, and so you were in a horizontal position with the floor. Hanging up, that's why you're hanging around. Like, if you're getting tired, you had to rest on the floor with your butt, with your sticking up in the air. How anybody ever really got through this thing? I don't know. Well, I didn't, but before that occurred, I was assigned, along with the other guys, assigned out to be trained in a plane, and we were lined up by size. Big guys, right on down. Then they assign an instructor to you who was approximately the same size you were. And we began flying.
Well, why was that?
I don't know.
Sort of
Maybe so you
balance in the
It
plane?
could be, because we were flying in biplane, open cockpit, biplanes with wing struts coming down, so forth. Yes, sir, that's what we were doing. And well, you listen to this tale too.
Don't push so hard.
Then we graduated from the biplane over to low-wing monoplanes, which again, they were open cockpits. You sat in the front seat, and your instructor sat behind you.
Now, these planes are about 20 years out of date, aren't they?
Well,
I mean, they weren't flying those kind of planes in World War II.
these were training planes for World War II.
Yeah, but they weren't like the,
They weren't fighters, no,
I mean,
no.
open cockpit.
They were open
That's-
cockpits.
Isn't that from the 20s and 30s? Well, this is the 30s. What year is this? 1940?
Well, this is the
1940.
40s.
Oh, okay.
This is the 40s.
They're older planes.
But they were open. We're still open cockpit. We didn't have anything to pull over the top of it.
Right. So it's just a two-seater, you in front and the person
Yeah,
behind you?
sitting behind you, and your instructor sat behind you, and he had a big mirror up there, and he could see your face. He could watch your expressions on your face and so forth and so on. And then you'd go out. He'd take you out there, and you went through these different things, how to make gradual turns, push the rudder in, pull the stick over slightly, and teach you to go around like this. Then, this particular day, like the instructor says to me, well, that's, oh, by the way, you couldn't talk to him. He had a speaking tube, which went into your ears, but you couldn't talk to him. All you could do is nod. And he said, "Can you put it into a spin?" I nodded yes, because I'd heard, the guys all talk around, well, all you have to do is pull the stick over and just rolls it over on its side. And,
No, this means a downward spiral.
yeah, downward spiral. Yeah. So he asked me to do that, and he said, "Well, take it up to 1,500 feet, put it into a two-turn spin." Let it go up. I roll her over. We start down. Then he yells at me, "Pull it out!" I didn't know how to pull it out. So the only thing I could think of doing is to pull the stick back over to the center, kick the rudder in on this, which I did. But unfortunately, I came out upside down. I'm flying up, and he yelled at me, "You trying to kill me?" This was the instructor. With that, he takes his controls away. And you way you take the controls away from, you got your knees down there, and this stick is up here, and it moves farther than what your legs are apart. It just bites you on the knees with the thing, see? All right, he flies me back to the base, and he says, well, I think I'm just going to have to recommend you be eliminated from flying. Yes, sir. See, come report tomorrow morning at the headquarters place. And I went in, and they told me the verdict. They said, but before that, we're going to let you fly. Before they do that, you're going to fly with one of the Air Force pilots. This was a man, these guys were civilians. They were working for that school.
And didn't you say also that he like took you right down through the fences and stuff because he was so mad?
Yeah, that was the guy that did that.
Skimming the thing,
They
ducking
flew me
trees and
back.
stuff.
Oh, he scared me to death. He flew me back after you accused me of trying to kill him. He just turned the plane sideways, and we went between the trees, and everything else. We weren't flying over 50 feet off the ground, and we were, oh gosh, scared me to death. But we got back all in one piece. But yeah, then other sides of them, they had to go in the following day, and
So those were just civilians. They weren't part of the Air Force.
no, they were civilian. Then I was given an Air Force pilot to go out, and he'd take a run with me, see how I could do. And I'd go out, and he'd tell me to make turns right, turn left, and what altitude and so forth. I would go along fine. And then, after he did this for a while, he says, let's go home. Where in the hell is home? This is Oklahoma and everything looks the same. Well, where do I go? He said, you don't know where you're at, do you? Well, he turned and said that. He got a compass reader, they follow that compass on. So I did, go back. And I landed the plane real nicely. I didn't bounce it much or anything. Went down. And so, however, he didn't say anything further to me. Then they just turned the report in, and then they come back and said, well, you report to the office tomorrow. And I go report in the next day, and they tell me that, well, they decided that I wasn't capable to continue on in the pilot training. However, if I wanted to stay on, I could stay on and learn to become a bombardier or a navigator. They do two different schools for that. And I told him, well, sir, I mean, it's very proper, you know. No, sir, I joined up just to learn to fly a plane. I didn't join up to learn to drop bombs. No, I don't want any of that. So, well, then, you just have to go back home, take your chances on the draft.
Oh, wait a minute. There was this thing, well, first you were gonna go to be the navigator school.
Well, I didn't go to navigator.
No, but when you told us before once, you said that you were interested in the navigator school, and then they did another like series of interviews, and they wanted to know if you spoke German, they wanted to know if your parents spoke German.
No, that, oh, wait a minute, there was that part.
Yeah.
They wanted
And
to know whether
you weren't qualified to be a navigator because they didn't trust you.
That's
because
right,
you had a
that is right, because I
You had a
had
German
a
last
German
name.
background. They didn't know, I wasn't eligible for navigation, but I was eligible for bombardier.
Yeah, they let you drop bombs
That's
on
not
it.
the
Once they got you there. They just didn't want to trust you to get there.
Right. That is correct, I'd forgotten that.
How long were you actually in that whole program? How long was the extent of the program that you were in? You said you became an upperclassman.
Yeah, I became an upperclassman. I don't know, what was it?
Pretty fast.
A couple weeks, months?
Well, it was several months, a couple months.
So months.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Wasn't there, Dad, wasn't there something about you got picked by the CO or something, and because of the way you showed up for inspection, and something to do with wearing pajamas?
The what?
Something about you wearing your pajamas under your uniform, and the commander saw that, and saw his pajamas sticking out of your pants or something, and he...
Oh! Yeah, there was where my tail, the shirt tail was sticking out.
Yeah, and he picked you to go with him, you know, he was like the...
Oh, God. Yeah, I do remember something. Oh, yes.
Well,
Well, they did everything to belittle you.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose. They figured that you'd crack under the pressure of being belittled all the time. That was the whole theory of Iger.
Well, it's a good thing you washed out, or none of us would have been here, I'm sure.
Huh?
It's a good thing you washed out, or none of us would ever have been here. I don't think you would have lasted too long in the skies over Germany or
Well,
whatever.
that's right. That's right.
Had you ever been in a plane before that?
I think I was in a plane once at a fair one time where they were having, you'd go for a little ride around
Uh-huh.
somewhere. But, oh, no. I had never been in a plane that was spinning before, I'll guarantee you that. Well, you go over and the plane doesn't turn, the ground is spinning.
Yeah.
The earth is going around and around, you know. Oh, it's quite a sensation. And the wind is screaming through the wires of the struts and everything. Oh, yeah, it's something else. But it was quite an experience.
And that guy Don Scott, so I never knew who.
Well, Don Scott came there came there as an underclassman. I had already moved up to be an upperclassman.
But why did he get an airfield named after him?
He went out and got himself killed.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, well, what he wound up doing, after he completed his training there, he went on, he was assigned out to California. He was signed out of here, and he was in an accident out here.
Oh, just another
Plane
war.
accident. Plane accident out here, got killed.
I think it was because he was an All-American from Ohio
Huh?
State.
He was a
An
big
All-American football
Yeah,
player.
Ohio
I
State.
never knew who
And
he
then,
was.
see, Matty wouldn't know this, but there's an airfield named Don Scott Field in Columbus. And
Yeah.
always
Yeah,
wondered-
just
Don-
this little
Don
tiny
I didn't know
Scott
if that
Field,
was.
It's
yeah.
Ohio,
Oh.
yeah, associated with the university.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to help him through the ropes on that thing.
Mm.
But I didn't intend for him to completely go out and get himself killed, but, no, that was done,
He didn't know how to pull out of a dive either. Huh?
apparently not. Whatever he did, I don't know. Well, it was an interesting segment of my life. It was only a short period of time, really,
Oh, yeah.
and,
Well, those are the kind of things you remember.
Huh?
You remember those kind of things forever, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a very vivid experience.
oh, gosh sakes, yeah. But as Dorothy later told me, I did, well, you know, you didn't have a chance to make it out there. I said, why? But your mother and I were both praying that you don't make it.
Didn't have a chance.
You didn't have a chance.